Hello students, hopefully you have gone through the previous lectures carefully. Now in this lecture, I will again bring in the concept of price and cost in greater detail to understand how does a firm act under perfect competition in the short run and long run. So to start with, again we will talk about the market price because this is a deciding factor for the firms whether to entry or stay in the market. Looking at the market price, firms get an idea whether they will be able to cover their cost of productions or not. And depending on the price and cost, the firms then decide whether they will continue in the business, shut down temporarily in the short run, or exit the market in the long run. Therefore, cost components are very important. Now, all of you know that from the chapter that you have covered under output and cost, that total cost is equal to two components, fixed cost and variable cost. While they are both costs, but they have different roles to play when it comes to deciding whether the firm should continue with their business or shut down. Fixed cost is something firms need to bear even if they are not producing anything, but variable cost is proportional to what the firm is producing, and this is the short run scenario I'm talking about. However, in the long run, fixed costs can also be taken care of. Comparisons between price and average total cost, average variable cost, and average fixed cost also helps the firm to decide for short run and long run. How? To understand that, let's have a comparison between price and different category of costs. So here we'll be talking about firm's short run and long run decision under perfect competition by comparing price and costs like average total cost, average variable cost. So let's see what happens in the short run. So in the short run, if price is greater than minimum ATC, ATC means the average total cost, and which is consisted of average fixed cost and average variable cost. So if the price is greater than minimum ATC, that means the firm is making abnormal profit. The firm is actually covering both of its average total cost and average variable cost, and even getting higher price after covering the cost. Therefore, the profit they are earning is regarded as an abnormal profit. So they will definitely continue production to remain in the business in the short run and will also continue in the long run. However, if price is equal to minimum ATC, then firm is basically covering its average fixed cost and average variable cost. However, it is not earning more than the cost that it is incurring. In that case, firm is actually making a normal profit, and under perfect competition, this point is known as a break-even point. Therefore, the firm decides to continue their production in the short run to remain in the business, and also plan to continue in the long run. As long as the firms can cover the costs they incur, they have a hope that if the price rises in future, they will earn some abnormal profit. And with that hope, they always plan to proceed in the long run. However, if price is less than minimum average total cost, but price is greater than minimum average variable cost, then it means that firm cannot cover all of its average variable cost. As a result, the firm is actually incurring loss, and this is a very certain thing to happen. When the cost incurred by the firm is not fully covered by the price that they get, that definitely entails that the firm is incurring some loss. Now, how big the loss is? It depends on how much average variable cost is being covered after covering the fixed cost. Through the price they are getting as marginal revenue from the market. The firm might continue production in the short run, in this case, to cover all of its fixed cost and some of the variable cost. It might help them to cover up the loss and remain in the business if the price level rises in the long run. Whether the firm will continue or will stop production to save the variable cost depends on firm's decision. Also, in the short run, if price is equal to minimum average variable cost, it is regarded as a shutdown point under perfect competition. In such a point, firms should not go for any new production, rather just need to continue to cover up its fixed cost and need to wait for the price level to increase so that they can continue in the long run. However, this is regarded as a temporary situation which can turn towards a positive condition if the market price rises in the long run. But if price falls even below minimum FVC, that means that the firms cannot cover any of its average variable costs and also cannot cover the fixed costs. Therefore, can't continue their business anymore and immediately need to shut down their business. If price becomes greater than minimum FVC in the long run, then the firm can reopen in the future. If it doesn't reopen, that becomes a long run decision, and in that case the firm leaves or exit from the market. Above all, in the long run, as the firm can have a control over both fixed and variable costs, therefore if price is less than minimum FVC, the firm will exit from the market permanently. So here comes the first case we have already talked about, where price is greater than minimum average total cost, and we have learned that under such circumstances a firm makes abnormal profit under perfect competition. So now let's look at the graph carefully. On the horizontal axis we are taking quantity, and on the vertical axis we are getting revenue and cost. Over here, price is a horizontal line representing that price is given from the marketplace, so both the buyers and the sellers are the price taker, and at this given price it depends on the firm how much they will produce. So then they make a comparison between the price or the marginal revenue that they receives from the market and the cost they have incurred. Over here, in order to do this comparison, we are considering two different cost curves. One is the marginal cost curve, another one is the average total cost curve. We all have also added the average variable cost curve here, but we will talk about the average variable cost in later slides. So we know that at the point where MR cuts MC, that is the profit maximizing point for the firm under perfect competition. However, here we can see that the price is at a higher level compared to the minimum average total cost. That means, as we have mentioned, average total cost includes average fixed cost plus average variable cost. So the firm is covering both the costs and getting a higher level of revenue compared to the cost that it incurs in total, and as a result earning a great amount of profit, which is regarded as abnormal profit under perfect competition. Now let's look at this particular graph. This is talking about the condition where price is equal to minimum average total cost, and we are telling that the firm is earning normal profit. So from the graph we can see that things are just as before, where we have taken quantity on the horizontal axis, revenue and cost on the vertical axis, price is given, which is equal to MR is equal to AR, and MC has cut MR, and that is the profit maximizing level of output we are getting from MR is equal to MC. However, now the position of the average total cost curve is just equal to the price that the firm is getting from the marketplace. And see that in all the graphs, MC had cut the average total cost at its minimum point. It has also cut the average variable cost at its minimum point. Anyways, so from here we can see that price is equal to minimum ATC. That means the cost that is incurred by the firm, the average total cost, is fully covered from the price or by the price that the firm is getting from the market. Yes, they are not generating any extra revenue, but the revenue that they are getting is exactly covering the cost incurred by the firm. As a result, this is regarded as a normal profit situation under perfect competition. So now if we compare between the previous and current graph, then we can say that if price is greater than minimum ATC, or if price is equal to minimum ATC, in both the cases the firms plan to continue in the short run as it is covering their average total cost, and they also plan to move towards a long run business because with an expectation that if the price even increases, they will earn more profit. As long as they are covering all of their costs, they would like to remain in the competition. Now, in a condition when price is below the minimum average total cost but above the minimum average variable cost, what should a firm do? So basically, when the firm is in this position that it is earning below its average total cost, that means it is not covering all of its cost. Rather, the fixed cost is fully covered and the firm is able to cover some of its variable cost. So in other way, it means that the firm is basically not earning any profit, rather incurring a bit of loss. So what should the firm do now? Whether they should stick to the business or they should leave the market. Usually, in short run, the firm will think of continuing because with an aim that in the long run, if the price goes up and it can reach the minimum average total cost, then the firm will be able to cover all of its cost, and maybe after a certain point of time they will also be able to earn some positive amount of profit. So with that hope, they will try to continue in the market in short run, and if the price rises, then in long run they will cover up this loss. However, we are trying to explain the very situation that I have just talked about in this particular graph. So here I have shown that what will happen in the long run if price level rises. So if today the existing price or the marginal revenue the firm earns is at the level where we are denoting P is equal to MR is equal to AR. So at this level they are incurring loss. But in future, if the price level increases through market mechanism, as you need to remember here, students, that the firms are price takers, right? They cannot set the market price by themselves. So the price, even if it has to rise, it has to be done through market mechanism. So in that case, if the price level rises in the long run and the average total cost is covered, then it will be easier for the firm to continue in the long run as well. So in short run, as some of its variable cost is already covered and all the fixed cost is covered, the firm will not suddenly plan to exit the market. Rather, they would like to observe the long run scenario. But when price becomes exactly equal to minimum AVC, that means the firm now cannot cover the average variable cost at all, and as a result a point below minimum AVC is the shutting down point for the firm, because if the firm cannot cover its average variable cost, That means it is not being able to pay its input for the production, and as a result the production process stops. So if the firm is not producing, and on the top of that it is actually trying to cover its fixed cost, so there is a cost associated to the whole production process, but the firm is not earning any revenue out of it. That means the firm is actually incurring loss at a price is equal to minimum AVC level. And in that case, in short run, the firm should definitely stop production and think of shutting down temporarily. In the long run, if they can cover up the average variable cost, then they should continue or reopen their business. But in the long run as well, if the price level does not go up and the marginal revenue of the firm earned by the firm does not rise, then the firm will ultimately plan to leave the market or take an exit from the business. So that's how, from a price and cost combination, we can see that when prices are above the average total cost, then it is covering all of its cost and also earning some abnormal profit. When price is equal to minimum average total cost, that means the firm is at least covering all of its cost and earning some normal profit. But when price is equal to minimum average variable cost, then it's a shutdown point that the firm has reached, and they should stop production temporarily. And in future, if because they are incurring loss in short run, and in future they can only reopen their business or think of reopening their business if they can earn some profit. Otherwise they will permanently leave the market. So hopefully from this price and cost comparison you have understood how does a firm under perfect competition takes or makes decision regarding staying in the business or leaving the business in the short run and as well as in the long run. Now in the next video we will go through a mathematical example again, which will help us to identify these points. That means the profit maximizing level of output and the profit maximizing condition, and along with that we'll be able to identify the minimum AVC, minimum ATC, and we'll compare it with the given price level to identify whether the firm is making any profit or loss. And that is a very important example. So I hope it will actually clear your understanding a bit more. Thank you.